Hey, let's move on to Proposition 120, property taxes on the ballot once again this year. How would this measure, or maybe it wouldn't, would it or wouldn't it change what people pay?
Well, it's kind of straight off of that ballot Vox victory from last year with the repeal of the Gallagher Amendment. Proponents of Proposition 120, they're now trying to lower property taxes in the state. Now, okay, as you were talking about, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. Of the three statewides, this one is going to be the most confusing for voters. The ballot question asks voters whether they want to lower their property tax assessment rates to 6.5% for residential properties and 26.4% for commercial properties. It was supposed to apply to everyone, but a new law that passed by legislators at the end of last legislative session makes it so that the ballot question now only applies to lodging and multifamily residences, so those would be things like apartment buildings. That's because the legislators changed the tax rate categories and offered temporary relief. Nevertheless, supporters are hoping for a yes vote, saying that this is a tax break when property owners need it the most with COVID. They say this is unlike that new law because it's permanent. That was a temporary tax cut. The proposition's creators are also planning to sue the state if this is successful to make it so that those rates would apply to everyone as intended. Opponents, however, say this is unnecessary since people are already seeing a tax break with that new law 293. Some are worried that the lawsuit would be successful, and if it is, they say that the tax reduction would hurt small districts like libraries, fire departments, police departments, and schools. They say that this is a one-size-fits-all approach that just does not work for the state.
So interesting, Megan, because depending on how this goes, then we have to then wait to see if that lawsuit would actually bring back this as it was originally intended. So as of right now, would you say it just doesn't have the teeth, even if it does pass?
I mean, it would certainly offer, and what the proponents would say is that it would certainly offer some sort of relief, particularly for, let's say, apartment buildings, and that could result in maybe lower rent rates if those savings are kind of passed on. It could also save some of the commercial kind of side, but we're talking about renewable energy and agriculture. So there are some savings, but yes, Michael Fields from Colorado Rising State Action, the group that is behind Proposition 120, say that they are promising to take this to a lawsuit, and there is some legal precedent for something like this, where the last law that's passed is the one that counts. So we would have to see how it plays out in the courts, but that's certainly the argument that he is planning to make if this passes and if they go ahead and file that lawsuit.
Because then it would impact a whole lot more people.